Welcome to my channel. This is JC Rock and Metal Reviews. My name is John and I have another ranking video. We'll be ranking the albums by the band Mastodon. So I will be only doing the studio albums. So they have 8 albums and I'm not including any EPs or rarities or live albums. I know they have like a lot of different EPs and stuff. But let me not waste any more time and jump right into it. So coming in at number 8 is Remission from 2002. This is their debut album and the very heavy album. This is like one of their few albums that are actually not a concept album, but they do have like the recurring theme of fire in a lot of the songs. So the song that does stand out for me is March of the Fire Ants. Very heavy down-tuned guitars, kind of playing those sustained power chords and really complex like progressive metal riffs. And they have the vocals. Troy does the vocals on this one, and the more like very harsh, a little more in the vein of like a death metal style. Also has a trampled under hoof, and I think I like the title better than the song, but it's a cool play on words. There's the Led Zeppelin song Trampled Underfoot, but anyway, totally different songs, but I really like that, and it's just heavy song, and it's just one of those albums. It just has lots of time signature changes, the very heavy vocals and the blast beats, but it's a good album. All these are good albums, but something has to come at the end, and that's it. At number 7 is Once More Round the Sun from 2014. I actually almost put this at the bottom, but it did kind of like grow on me a little bit after I listened to it a few times. And I know this is one of those albums that fans might not like it. It does kind of have more of a commercial sound. It kind of mixes it with a lot of like psychedelic rock. But they were trying to continue with their sound. They had their sound with The Hunter, which I'll talk about in a few minutes. And they kind of like took it to the next level. Now they do mention as influences like Alice in Chains and Deftones, so you're gonna hear some of that in some of these songs. And the album cover, probably my favorite album cover out of all of them. They have really great covers, but this is my favorite album cover. And it has the song with the Mother Lode, kind of like a grungy sound, has the clean vocals, and has the melodic and catchy chorus, and maybe like one of the more like accessible songs. Another one is High Road. Pretty cool, like a slow and doomy style, has like that dirty and sludgy riffing, kind of like think of like an early Alice in Chains, like facelift era type of song. And this album, it's one of those albums I didn't really like it at first, but it did grow on me a little bit. And number 6 is Blood Mountain from 2006. Now, maybe a lot of Mastodon fans might be thinking I have this kind of low, but I guess, I don't know, it's just where it is for me. It's their major label debut album. It's a concept album, and you're talking about climbing up a mountain and all the things that you can experience, and getting stranded, being in the woods, and having like hallucinations and animals and all that kind of stuff. So the album has a little more of the clean vocals and the progressive metal sound, and they also have a few guests. It has Josh Homme from Queens of the Stone Age. He's on the song Colony of Birchmen, and that's a pretty cool song. They have a pretty cool music video for that one. That song has some psychedelic rock and has some clean vocals in it. And also has a Crystal Skull, and this one has another guest of Scott Kelly of Neurosis. It's a little more of a complex, guitar song. Really cool, fast drumming, but this is like one of those like proggy albums, and it's good. I think this is like one of their albums where they were kind of like looking for what they want to do, and they kind of start moving in that direction. At number 5 is The Hunter from 2011. Again, you might be surprised why I have this over Blood Mountain, but I just think it's good. It's a follow-up to Crack the Skye, and that I will be talking about later. And they did kind of make the sound a little more like straightforward metal, a little more accessible songs. And some fans might not like this album, but I think it has some pretty good songs. So the album opens up with Black Tongue, and it kind of has like an alternative metal sound, kind of mixed with like sludge metal. Kind of like not a very fast-paced song, but really like the guitar riffs in that one. And I really like the song Curl the Barrel. Kind of one of their like heavy guitar riffs has like a chunky tone, melodic lead guitar, and then this is more of a, I guess maybe closer to more of a more radio-friendly type of song, I guess I would say. And another song is Dry Bone Valley. Really has a slow building intro, kind of filled with complex riffs and melodic vocals, and kind of like a grungy sound, and I'm a fan of grunge and alternative music and alternative metal, so that's probably why I like this album. But that's what I have at number 5. At number 4 is Emperor of Sand from 2017. This was the first Mastodon album I ever listened to, actually. And when I first listened to it, I didn't really like it that much. I guess this band, it kind of took me a while to get into. So for that reason, like after I listened to this back in 2017, I didn't really listen to this band that much afterwards. And you know, it's a very complex album, but you're seeing I'm ranking it at number 4. So obviously it did grow on me. It's one of those albums that did take time to appreciate. It's a concept album talking about a wanderer in the desert, and he's given like a death sentence. And the album starts with Sultan's Curse, kind of like this thrashy guitar intro and like some sludgy vocals and progressive metal riffing. Then just Show Yourself, probably like one of the most like commercial sounding songs, kind of like a grunge or punk rock. It almost sounds like a type of like an early Nirvana song, but you know, show yourself, you know, something like that. But actually I didn't like it when it came out, but I like it now. But my favorite song, and the song I always like, the Steam Breather, just that slow and doomy guitar riff in the intro, and I think that's probably the best song in the album. So this is one of those albums, I didn't like it at first, but it did grow on me a lot, and you can see it is in the top 4, so it's in the top 50%. And number 3 is Hushton Grimm 2021. This is the new album. So this is a very divisive album. I've seen a lot of metal channels say they don't like it. I've seen a lot of metal channels say they love it. And I like it. You know, I have it at number 3. So I do have a full review, but it's a long album, and you know, this is the album that kind of got me interested in the band again. You know, so actually, I think when it first came out, I liked it like a lot more than Emperor of Sand, but Emperor of Sand did grow on me a lot more. As you can see, I ranked it right below it. My favorite song, Sickle and Peace, really the third single, a very different type of song. Has those like female vocals in the intro, those like progressive riffs. This one has Troy on vocals, and you know, you think of those like progressive metal bands like Opeth, kind of reminds me a little of that. Then there's some like heavy and thrashy riffs, and there's some like psychedelic sounds. So a really great song. I also like Tear Drinker, that was another single. Kind of a little more like a commercial sound, has that melodic guitar solo. Maybe something more like the band Ghost or something like that. But it still has their signature like heaviness and the heavy distorted guitar chords, and some really great solos, and really great music video. I definitely recommend looking up the music video for Tear Drinker. So at number 2, I have Leviathan from 2004. So this is a concept album. We're talking about the, you know, more or less Moby Dick story. Very popular album, received lots of praise, and very heavy, and they incorporate more melody. They mix some elements of like sludge metal and thrash. I think the opening track, Blood and Thunder, this is one of the Mastodon songs that I did like back in the day, and maybe one of my favorites. Really great opening riffs, like the din 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 din, kind of like a classic heavy metal, and has like a progressive rock edge. Another good song is Sea Beast, kind of like the slow atmospheric intro, really cool psychedelic guitar riff. You know, the vocals are really different on the song. They have like a little slightly cleaner, that kind of, you know, I think it's Troy who has those like kind of like psychedelic type of sludgy vocals. And the song Iron Tusk, pretty good, just straightforward sludge metal mixed with some proggy riffs. So this is a really great album. It's also a good, you know, intro to the band if you want, you know, something that's a little catchy, but something that's still proggy, and it's a good album to listen to first. But my number 1 is the one that everybody picks number 1, and you know, it's a great album. You know, Crack the Skye 2009. They take the sound, they take it to the next level, and it's just one of the best like progressive rock or progressive metal albums that are out there. So when they were recording this album, I know like Brent Hines was listening to a chord of the Crimson King by King Crimson, like during the recording process. Troy Sanders was listening to Pink Floyd's Animals, and they kind of like took that like 70s classic rock, and they kind of mixed it with metal, and they just like really got it right on this album. So one of my favorite Mastodon songs called Oblivion Really great, has a complex, and it's also melodic. It goes in many different directions. You know, it has these slow and atmospheric parts, has like the fast riffing parts and the clean vocals, the psychedelic rock. It's just one of those songs that has everything. It has like the 2 lead vocalists. And another great song is the Divinations. Really a complex guitar riff, got the heavy power chords, complex drumming, and song with so many layers and the clean and harsh vocals. And just one of those like great albums, one of those albums you got to listen to like many times and just like to absorb it all. And definitely I have it at number 1. So let me know in the comments what you thought. You can give me your Mastodon ranking in the comments. And so that's it. So next is tomorrow is the Friday. New albums by Devin Townsend and Volbeat. So those will be some of the last new releases that we'll be doing for this year. I think the only other one was like a Neil Young album, which is coming out a little later. But that's it. Please remember, like, comment, subscribe, check out the other videos, and see you all in the next one.